All right, so here is a question or comment that I get a lot from people nowadays. It's like, what are you actually supposed to be contracting when you're doing a back extension hold? Um, so for the assisted hold, so like there's progressions for the back extension where you're going from assisted to unassisted, and then single leg assisted to unassisted, and then finally doing reps um, over a large amount of time, or progress over a large amount of time. But even to get into the proper contraction, there's a progression that you can do to help learn how to do it effectively and like without flaring yourself up or causing more pain or damage. Um, so for me, like when I first started doing my rehab, I couldn't squeeze my glutes together or even like extend from my low back without getting like just terrible nerve pain down to my toes. So when I first started, I didn't know how to do the back extension and what to contract. So I was trying to squeeze my glutes or extend my back and trying to like figure out what to feel or what the correct thing is to feel. And it just caused me a bunch of flare ups. To one, like at one point, I was just like trying to like I didn't feel any pain if I was doing the assisted holds or the unassisted holds, and I was just feeling like I'm like contracting my hamstrings. But eventually, like the hamstrings aren't supposed to do the entire movement or contract for the or carry the entire movement. The hamstrings are not intended to carry this entire movement. So I eventually started getting like bruising behind my knee, and it was kind of like a clue of like, well, I know I'm not doing something right, or I wouldn't be getting this bruising. So there's really like a three-step progression to like learning how to do it safely, depending on where you are, like in terms of like your rehab level or your pain level, or whatever that is. So the first level would literally be just getting on the back extension machine and resting all of your weight on your hands to where like you don't even feel like you're contracting anything along like the posterior chain from like neck to toe. So like I'm not contracting anything here right now. I'm just resting my hands onto the bars. And even now, like I can still feel like my spinal erectors are still firing. Like it's like still doing the movement for me, even though all my weight is on my hands. Um, and I would still start from like 15 to 30 seconds uh, on the holds just to be safe, so you can still progress it. But as you get better and like the next step for me, or yeah, so the next step or the progression would be to if you just go from like the prone static position to the next step would then be like squeezing your glutes. So if you get any nerve pain or back pain by squeezing your glutes, just stay on the prone relaxed level. Um, so here, and then I'm like squeezing my glutes together, not at like 100% where I'm like really, really like squeezing it, like I'm trying to contract as hard as possible, but instead just like maybe like a 50% squeeze, and just trying to like allow my body to realize that it's safe to do so. So like a 50% squeeze, and obviously you can like go from 50 to 75 to 100%. I really wouldn't go 100%, just because it's not a glute movement. It's more of like for your low back, or like the back extension is not a glute movement. It's more for your back. So I'd really go to like 50 to 75% of like a squeeze where you're not squeezing so hard that you're causing other things or causing other issues. Um, but yeah, so like the second level would just be like squeezing your glutes here, uh, and just holding yourself up that way. And you'll feel like your hamstrings and your low back engage even more when you're squeezing the glutes. And then the last stage, or the last progression to learning and trying to rewire how your body is working is you think about using like the back of your head and your neck to extend and your low back to extend. So even on assisted, I can still get a really good burn here. Um, a good burn as in like a muscular burn, not a nerve pain or anything, but like I can still feel like my muscles, especially like my spinal erectors being like really stimulated here just by thinking and contracting my low back and the back of my neck. So like the entire posterior chain lights up, even on assisted here. Um, and that's like kind of the proper way. So like the proper way is to use your low back to hold yourself up, but you may not actually be able to get there um, if you're in like severe pain or just pain in general. So yeah, so step one would be prone, I guess prone holds, and then like glute squeezes, and then working your low back.